Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we welcome back on Raw Artworks. Today we have Jason Cruz. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, welcome.
Of course. So would you mind just real quick introducing yourself for the audience and your role within Raw Arts?
My name is Jason Cruz. I'm the Director of Culture Experience. I'm also an expressive arts therapist at Raw. I think that's it.
All right. And you said you've been there for almost 30 years now. It's very impressive. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see the city grow and Raw grow and be able to reach deeper into the neighborhoods, and seeing alumni come back to help enhance the programming with their wisdom and knowledge. So we're pretty blessed.
Mm-hmm. And today you're here to talk about a few specific events, but before I get into that, would you mind just real quick going over the main mission of Raw, like what your purpose is?
So our mission is to reach out into the community and create safe spaces at Raw for young people to explore life with art, through art. And we're rooted in expressive arts therapies, which allows us avenues to ask questions and create spaces for young people to make art that they explore what life is like and what it could be like for them.
Nice. And one way you do that is you're going to be having your bash, your Arts Bash, in a few weeks. That's a very large fundraiser for you, but what is involved in that?
Well, on the way here, I was thinking about May, and May seems like the month where a lot of the big things culminate at Raw.
Yeah.
And our bash is about making it so our young people can get snacks, have art supplies, have safe spaces. So we have people from the community come and support us by buying some art that's going to be auctioned, that's made by alumni and or community members, to make sure that young people can come to Raw at no cost, and allows us to focus on helping young people keep moving through the community.
And that must be pretty incredible for the alumni too, to think, my artwork's being sold. Like, that's an amazing feeling to probably see your artwork displayed like that.
Yeah, I think we have a program that's been developing for many years, where we can pay some of our alumni to come back if they choose to make works of art that can mean something to them, or there's absolutely beautiful, but like there's a commitment to that when you have a whole life, when you're adulting, then to come back to a place you stopped going when you were like 18 or whatever. So it's kind of for those who work there like myself, when alumni make space to come back and offer their talents to make sure other generations can get the opportunity of Raw, it's kind of amazing.
Mm-hmm. And it speaks to the strength of the program too, because you have quite a few alumni come back, so it really shows, you said, the impact that it had on them, because they may not have been back for a few years, but they still make the space and time to do so. Absolutely.
And I think it's kind of, there's something about a staff person or myself saying something to a kid, right? But then when an alumni comes back and visits a group and they share their story, that's the greatest validation we can have as clinicians or community members that are artists, for a young person to speak on behalf of the program and how they felt about it. I think it's also important that people understand, like, for Raw to be successful, we need to listen to our alumni, because they can validate our work, but also make sure that's relative to what's happening today. So we have several staff in leading roles right now that make it so the programming is still true to what we're trying to do in the community, but also reflective of how to enhance what's going on. So I've been there for 30 years. I'm blessed to do that. Yeah. And honored to be serving the community, but also know, like, I have a perspective. Yeah, you do. So I want to be able to listen to what's happening. So.
Yeah, and in relation to, we're talking about with the bash, you mentioned it's on May 3rd, but what is the more specific timing? Like, where is it being held? All of that.
It's going to be held at 37 Central Square at Raw Artworks. Every year is different. This year, it's about amplifying and magnifying. So I'm not going to give away what's happening, but if you want to see rawartworks.org, look it up, look up tickets, and understand, like, you buying a ticket makes it so a young person can enjoy opportunities to create in ways they don't get a chance to do in any other places. So whatever comes through the door is going to help get pencils, snacks, field trips. But also, ultimately, it creates a space for young people to gather in the city that's safe enough for them to be who they want to be.
And on that note, too, you were mentioning May is really a culmination of a lot of your events. You also have Art Week, which happens the 26th to the 30th, a little bit later, and you said you had 3 major events. Yes?
Yes. So that's, actually, I left Raw right now to come here. We were taking on the show preparing it for our events that are coming up. So the first event in Art Week is going to be at the Cabot Theater with our Reel-to-Reel folk program. So the young people have been making film art, I guess you want to call it, that will be screened at the Cabot Theater. So we're collaborating with Cabot Theater to make sure that we get to bring Lynn's creativity to another community, which is really cool. But I think we were just talking earlier about pulling up to Raw and seeing your name in this screen that's like, I made that, and you get to share your ideas. So our young people get to do that. Following that, at the end of the week, would be our annual block party where we close down the street and open our windows to make sure people can see the stage, invite community members. I think the school committee I think might be coming to like set up tables and stuff like that.
Nice.
So we're trying to make it so it's more inclusive, and we're trying to take up the block in a way that's conducive to what the community needs or wants. So there's going to be a DJ, snacks. Our leadership team of students from STARS will be hosting pretty much, like being docents inside the building and making sure the snacks are ready and flowing.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've been to both events before, Reel to Reel, and then I was at the block party last year, and they're always so fun, but they're definitely a mix of that and offering resources or really offering a safe space for people to just be themselves. Absolutely.
I think nothing's perfect, right? But I think we really try to make sure it's youth-led or youth-focused, not just the ideas the kids have. So like we want to make sure it's fun, it's welcoming. We want to make sure that it's sensitive to what's going on in the world, but also like keeping it real. So the themes that you see in the art show are really important to the kids. So every leader that's designed something with the kids' input will be reflected in the work. Also, there's activities on the street, painting the street, chalk work, bubbles, popcorn. So it's, it feels like a moment where people can just actually relax for a day. And we usually get blessed with good weather, hopefully, knock on wood.
Yes, hopefully.
But I think it just feels like fun and safe, and like city leaders come out, but it's not about that they're city leaders, it's like they're part of the community too. So our young people and families can interact with everybody. It's kind of cool.
No, it is. It's amazing. And as you were saying, even for Reel to Reel, seeing your name up there is like no other feeling in the world.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier about like your voice and speaking.
Yeah.
And I think there's many ways to speak, right? So the basic one is your voice, but then if you're not comfortable with that, you can make art and use words to say what's on your piece about. When it comes to filmmaking, there's an opportunity for them to speak about their film on stage at the end. So you get to talk to the artists and the filmmakers. It's pretty cool.
You were mentioning earlier, it's another way to speak, a way that might make them feel more comfortable, or a way to express things where they may not know how else to.
Yeah, I think there's a lot going on in the world right now. Mm-hmm. Let's just keep it real. And I don't think anybody, even adults, don't know how to talk about it. So art helps you have an avenue to think about what you want to say, whether it's visually, on camera, spoken word, drawing, illustrations. But then at Raw, we're able to create a space to talk about what that could mean for you, and hopefully create spaces for young people to say what's on their mind without judgment, and have a space to find out what they can become.
And I didn't get a chance to ask, the major events you mentioned during Art Week, are those free and open to the community?
The only one that's not free, because we want to pay for all kinds of things, is the bash.
Okay.
The block party is open to the community. We want as many people to come through the building and hear the kids' voices through their art, actually meet the artists if they want, and also the co-leaders of the programming. Mm-hmm. Like I said earlier, with Reel to Reel going to Cabot, we get to bring Lynn and film working and raw artworks to another city. Yeah. So it's another way to get the voice out there for all the wonderful work young people are doing in Lynn. I believe the Cabot film screening for Reel to Reel is free also.
Oh, fantastic.
So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Really opening it up to the community, connecting people, getting to go there. And I know I do have to wrap up in a moment. It always goes by so fast. But was there anything else you wanted to mention about these events, about Raw in general?
I think that Raw is really thankful for being able to be in the city this long. We want to expand in a way that's conducive to what's happening, and we appreciate when our public art teams go out there and create art that's relative to what the people are asking for. And we want to continue to create opportunities for young people to be seen and heard in ways that are progressive for them. And please come to our openings, and if you have questions, come visit.
Yeah. The events that you put on are always phenomenal. Like I said, I've been to a few, and I want to thank you again so much for really coming on and helping to amplify Raw's voice.
Thank you. Thanks for asking. Thanks for having us here.
Of course, anytime. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been another edition of the Lynn Lowdown, and we will see you next week with more guests.